This is Wild Green Streams for Ecological Fiends, a podcast about memes, science, and wildlife. I'm Rhett.
I'm Curtis.
I'm Iona.
And today joining us are Emily and Patrick, part of the meme team for the Monterey Bay Aquarium. Welcome.
Hello.
Hey, good to see everybody. Thanks for having us.
So for those who haven't seen your incredible internet presence, can you give a brief overview of what you do for the social media team for the aquarium?
Sure, we can refresh everyone's memory all together as to what we're doing. I'm Pat. I've been working on the aquarium social media team for about 5 years now. I'm a social media content creator, and my job is to come up with all the stuff that we have posted on our social media feeds. So YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, Giphy, Twitch, etc. All of those amazing platforms with those audiences. And my friend, my colleague, my buddy, my pal, I got to save it for you.
No, this is what happens when you introduce yourself first.
Go for it, Emily.
Hi, I'm Emily. I am the other part of the social media team here at the Monterey Bay Aquarium, also social media content creator, hanging out on the internet, making jokes, doing the streams, etc. That's part of our job, is just to bring the ocean to people online across the world, no matter where they are.
What part do memes and social media play in your mission as an aquarium?
That's a great question. Well, our mission at the aquarium is to inspire conservation of the ocean. And, the internet has, it wasn't a thing when the aquarium first opened. We opened in 1984. And so what our role on the social media team really is to try to create this digital aquarium that people can visit on all these different social media platforms. People are choosing to spend their time on Twitter, on Twitch, on Instagram, wherever they happen to enjoy being, the type of content that they enjoy consuming. And so our job is to try to go in there, figure out the language, figure out the platform, and create a Monterey Bay Aquarium in that area so that people can learn a little bit about the ocean, have some fun with each other, and hopefully be inspired to help conserve the ocean if there's ever something that that needs to be done. Yeah.
So on that note, I've never been to the Monterey Bay Aquarium. Rhett, Iona, have either of you been?
I haven't
Unfortunately,
yet.
no. I have a mug.
But
well, again, we've talked about this. You're all
Yeah.
invited, and everybody in the Wild Green Means fam, you're all welcome to come on under the aquarium once we reopen. We have been closed for the last almost 11 months here because of the pandemic. But once we're open up again, can't wait to get everybody back in the doors and share some fun.
We are absolutely taking you up on that offer. I am
100%.
counting down the days. I don't know what the day counter down is, but I'm still counting down.
I wish we knew.
Yeah.
But on that note, out of us three who haven't been, never mind work there, don't you feel like you have through the social media, through the krill waves to listen and study to, through
all the live cams
through the
that
live
you guys
streams,
have,
through the osprey sea shanty memes, through the magic of the internet. I mean, even before memes were a big thing, I remember as like a kid scrolling through your website and being like, they have a mola mola. I'm going there someday. So yeah, back before like Facebook really became what it was, when it was just for like college students. I still remember as like a teenager going through your website and like learning all about the layout and all that. So like I think that's cool. Just like a testament to like I've never been to that part of California, and I very much want to go to the aquarium, but I still feel like I know the place.
Yes. And then keep going on that topic for like another 3 or 4 minutes, because that's like that would be great.
So as people can probably tell from all the different words we've been mentioning of different websites and different kinds of media, you guys do a lot of different things and a lot of different kinds of things that you make, all tied together by obviously the ocean and the aquarium. I was just wondering, for each of you, what's your favorite thing that you could make? Like, what's your favorite project that you do as social media people for the aquarium? And could you describe it and say like why you like it and what's cool about it?
I mean, I know what my favorite is, and I apologize if I'm going to steal it from you, Patrick.
No, you're good.
I love streaming to Twitch. I think it's one of the most unique communities to be a part of. It is one of the newest platforms that we're on right now. And, uh, right now we're doing so many different things kind of across all different platforms. And you can kind of get lost in the crowd that way. But when we're on Twitch, like seeing everyone who's hanging out in the chat and recognizing names like time after time when we're on there and really building relationships with people and really like being able to dive into deep conversations and just be silly and create our own memes in real time
Yeah.
as we're streaming on Twitch, I think is one of the coolest parts of being on the internet in our age right now, is just that really personal interaction that you have on there. Because Patrick and I, when we first started at the aquarium, we were the people who were on the floor who were answering questions for people. And even when we're on the internet, that's part of our job, is to answer people's questions, but you don't really have too much of that human interaction. But on Twitch, that's where it's at. It's where we can be silly and goofy and memey and just really try out new and different things, whether it's doing the video game streams on there or doing the deep sea streams with our colleagues over at Ambari. It's just always something new, always something different, but being able to see the same people return time after time again is really cool.
It's probably the
Yeah,
closest to the in-person interpretation. Also, like, especially since everything's been closed, you aren't able to do that kind of one-on-one or, one to a group of people the same way, as before. So it's probably the closest you could get, I imagine.
Yeah.
And what's really interesting about the Twitch community, but it's kind of everywhere, is that the memes are created in real time. And then the constant viewers are there and they recreate the memes and we riff on the memes. And it's the shared language that is really unique to just our channel, which is amazing. Like, we made some emotes, we made like some funny comments, and then now in the chat you just see wow, or like I'm the terrible boy because I ran over Emily's flowers in the first episode of Animal Crossing because I didn't know that would happen. So there's like
We've all
so
been
many
there.
exactly.
Stealing my pears, running
Yeah.
over my flowers.
Absolutely.
When I've played that game before, I took all of my brother's possessions within the game and I buried it in his front yard.
I
Yeah.
totally chopped down a friend's tree when they gave me permission to collect fruit or something. I don't remember what happened.
No.
But
See, and so those moments shared with that audience, it's just so much fun to be able to create memes and content and culture with other people on the internet. And then thankfully it ends up actually working out that's like helpful for people to build a connection with the aquarium, learn something about the ocean that day, but mainly just have a good time. The mission of the aquarium is inspiration. So it's not, lecturing about conservation of the ocean. So getting people to just have a good time with the ocean is what it's about. And I guess my favorite thing to do on the social stuff, outside of talk too long and interrupt other people, I like coming up with the memes when they come, like when they happen to. So often I'm waking up with memes, and so I like coming up with the jokes. Hopefully there's some like fun science in there that people can get after, and then I like just seeing how the internet takes it that day. You have to have this like feel for how it might be received that day, and so it's nice when like the feeling that you had, like, I think people are going to like this, and then it does well. That's one of my favorite parts.
So that brings me to our next segment, which is a meme show and tell, where we each brought some of our favorite ocean memes to share, some created specifically for Monterey Bay, some that are just classic reposts on the Wild Green Memes and what were you gonna say?
Oh, Chris, I just had a question before we jump into the memes. This is something I was curious about from your perspective, because we're Emily and I both have to explain memes very frequently and what a meme is and everything. So I just wanted to ask, before we get into it, what is your definition of a meme? Like what is a meme to you? because
I think about this all the time because I know that anytime I tell someone that I'm like part of Wild Green Memes, I have to like, and unless depending on who I'm talking to, a lot of times I have to explain it. So I think about it a lot, and I think it's kind of like a trend that has some kind of joke that references something, and then but it's in such a format that other people can kind of like repeat it and sort of customize it. Like
Okay.
I think it has to be done in a way that people can kind of make it their own and share it, because if it doesn't get shared, it's not going to like become a thing. But also that's like such a broad concept to try to, and it's also, I mean, it was primarily still images I think it began with, and then like now there's videos. TikTok has audios that are memes in and of itself, so it's like, how do you explain what that is? So that's a good question that wish I could fully give like a solid definition, but I think it's very like kind of amorphous.
I think the remixability is the driving factor of something that has the means to be revised and changed and shared while still kind of retaining a certain meaning to it. And that meaning can, like, sometimes you need to understand like 4 memes before it to understand the meme itself, and other times you could show it to just about anyone and they'll get it. I could probably share like 1% of these memes with my grandmother and she'd understand it even though she doesn't have a computer.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I go for the classical definition, which is like, because the word meme actually predates the internet by about 40 years. I think it was in the Selfish Gene when it first got rolled out. That's the first reference I've seen to it. For me, like a meme as a concept is just any kind of idea or pattern or thought or anything that spreads from one person to another and kind of evolves as it goes.
The shared cultural packet of information that Dawkins said. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's funny because, like, you know, how many people know that it predates the internet, because you know, memes are like popular songs, pop songs, you know, forever, like, you know, dances and everything.
This is relevant to like the big trend of last month and something you referenced, which was the sea shanties on TikTok, and you made the meme about the osprey. I think it was Know Your Meme brought up the fact that like sea shanties were a meme in and of themselves. It was like the passing down and evolution of this art form from that, and you'd trade and exchange your sea shanties at the port, and they've been around for centuries, so there are the little variations that would pop up here and there, and like a game of telephone. I'm sure a sea shanty from 1850 was very different by 1890, so it's like the idea of something that transferred culturally rather than genetically, I feel like is really what the base is. But then you start like,
and also has some kind of joke inside it as well.
By modern standards, definitely.
By modern standards, definitely.
Do you guys know about the origin of the word okay? So the origin of the word okay is that in the early to mid 1800s, young people with nothing better to do decided that they wanted to start spelling words slightly wrong because they thought it was funny. So there actually was a phrase back then that was all correct that hit the same usage that okay does now. But they started spelling it OLLKOR, correct. And then eventually that got shortened to okay. So if it weren't for basically a shit post from the 1800s, we would be saying AC instead of okay.
Yeah, like we think of memes as a modern phenomenon, and then you look at like newspaper clippings from like the 1718 early 1900s, and you're like, this is a Tumblr post. Like,
or even you go and you see like a Roman sculpture of a rat blowing on a trumpet, you know, and you're just like, oh, somebody in ancient Rome had something to say about that's like a rat playing a trumpet. Like, oh, sorry to derail. I just always I find
it's impossible to talk about memes and not derail. I think it's actually impossible.
Okay, Curtis, do you want to introduce the game again?
Yeah. So we're gonna do a meme show and tell where we share some of our favorite ocean memes. And I know that our guests actually made some of the memes that they'll be sharing as part of.
We brought our own.
It's BYOM.
Mhm.
Describe this meme in excruciating detail, and we'll see how well memes translate to a audio format.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, let's have our guests go first, just so.
Okay. I believe in this pandemic, we have all gotten used to these words. So this is our first meme here. This is the one posted on Instagram. Emily, do you want to describe it? Should I describe it?
How do we want to describe it?
So this is our take on the Bernie Mittens meme that was going around. So for those of you who are unaware, at the inauguration, Mr. Bernie Sanders was sitting down in a chair. Some people took a photo of him sitting there. Kind of became one of the first post inauguration memes that went everywhere. And so we typically, I think, Emily, it's safe to say we typically wait to see where the meme is headed, and we usually come back on the back end of the meme, kind of doing meta commentary about the memes. Generally, that seems to be a safer place to go as far as being a brand doing memes, because part of doing memes and being the Monterey Bay Aquarium is that the fact that the Monterey Bay Aquarium is posting a meme is part of the reception of the meme. And so you have to be very conscientious of how your audience is going to respond to the fact that the aquarium is using a meme format. So there's like an extra layer to the brand. So here we waited for a little bit. And what we did is we photoshopped Bernie's mittens onto a California king crab, which has become our stand-in crab for the carcinization trend on the internet about how arthropods have had crustaceans have had multiple different lineages eventually converge on a crab-like body form, even though they weren't necessarily closely related. A California king crab is a good example of that. They are an anomurin, so they're closely related to hermit crabs, but obviously this is a proud king crab crawling around looking like other quote regular crabs. And so this is a California king crab with Bernie's mittens on, and the caption is, "It was only a matter of time," the implication being that eventually all memes become crabs, or that Bernie became a crab eventually, because all things default to crab. However,
or that all memes become Bernie memes.
True, exactly. So there's a regression to a meme, as it were.
It's funny. I shared this in our group chat. And I said it would have been funny if they did a Chinese mitten crab. Lo and behold, not even an hour later, a zoology meme page posted a Chinese mitten crab with Bernie mittens. And then not even, maybe like another hour later, they changed it to the Vermont mitten crab instead of the Chinese mitten crab. So
nice.
I feel like everyone's just on this weird meme wavelength where if you wait long enough, someone will make the meme for you and save you the work.
Yeah.
Is that a rule 43 of the internet? Something like that? Anyway.
That is why meme pages work.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Sweet. So that's the Bernie meme. I'll move over one more. Emily, do you feel like talking about this one?
Sure. Or I should say sure.
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 Yeah.
Yeah. So right now we are looking at a image of Ray the penguin. Ray herself, a very popular penguin amongst our many followers on the internet who are familiar with this very special bird at the aquarium, who likes to go on walks around the aquarium with her caretakers. Oftentimes she's going around and visiting the different exhibit every day. This time she happens upon the kelp forest, and standing in front of the kelp forest is the monolith that was so popular.
A million years ago.
Monolith discovered
gets
in
around.
the middle of the desert. It gets around. The aliens dropped it down, whatever, inside of the aquarium. And so underneath the caption is, "What's that, Ray? You found it? Uh-oh." Just another take on the meme of people putting monoliths in strange places across the internet.
And
Definitely
I like the care taken to reflect the kelp forest into the monolith. I want to say I recognize that I don't know how you guys make your memes, but I make mine in PowerPoint, and so I would imagine that would be very difficult if I was to do it in PowerPoint. So 10 out of 10 for the effort.
Oh, thank you.
10
Yeah,
out of
that
10,
was
Patrick. Yeah.
thanks.
For
Yeah,
that
that was a little bit of time in Photoshop. So these last two memes here are kind of the ones, you know, there's various styles of memeing, as it were. And this one just happened to be like a fun visual joke. Everybody was talking about these monoliths, and I figured it'd be funny to have one in the aquarium. So these are definitely more of the like hopping on the trend kind of memes, just like the fun visual joke. And it struck a chord because this is our most popular Instagram post of all time. So everything that we've tried with like baby sea otters, recovery this, like help the ocean that, you know, all that stuff, like this is a good example of a meme that is there to you know, to get you out there to your audience, to your, you know, to the platform, being like, hey, Monterey Bay Aquarium on Instagram, like we have some fun over here. And hopefully get more eyeballs when we do have something like, hey, there's this bill that's being signed. Do you mind helping us out? Just like, you know what, anything for that monolith meme. So kind of hope with those two.
You're building up clout with your viewers and followers.
Oh, sweet clout chasers. So this one I need to talk about because this is kind of the aquarium's first meme. In a sense, this is sort of like the genesis of it. We made a couple ahead of time, like previously. This is back in 2018. This was the first meme that really hit, and this is the screenshot here, just to show how much. This is still our most popular Twitter post of all time. It has 115,000 likes. It was all over the news and everything. And this was one of the first memes that we made that involved, like, I don't want to say like a professional lens, like meme strategy around it, but I studied this meme a lot before this made sense, because this meme is an American Chopper meme. And the thing that I read that kind of made it click is that it's a very long meme. So here's the full image. But the thing that as I was looking, because these memes were everywhere at the time, the thing that I learned is that that third panel in the middle is the first panel that people are going to read. That's how Twitter is going to crop on it. So you have to have your thesis statement on the third panel. So I wrote the thesis statement in the middle, which is, this is a really popular meme right now. Maybe it can generate a non-zero amount of ocean awareness. And that's Paul Sr. yelling. So I knew that that was the thesis statement. Then I had to write backwards to get to that thesis statement and then continue the rest of the meme going forward. And basically what this was a written out realization of how uncomfortable it is to be the Monterey Bay Aquarium social media team wanting to do this meme without alienating everybody else. Because this was right around the time that brands on Twitter were starting to go off with memes. This was Wendy's dunking on everybody. This was the moon pie era. This was, you know, that whole time where the
Steakum was
Steakums.
Steakum, it just the brands were starting to become self-aware, meaning that they had finally you know, younger of the internet people working on them. So different language was coming up. But so this was like, okay, the aquarium, we really want to jump into memes. And just to like point out, like part of the meme too, we made one. The lack of punctuation was something that I thought a lot about. This is one of the first ones that we didn't punctuate the end. If I were to redo it, I wouldn't capitalize the W, because when we write internet speak, that's sort of like when it's like a secondary character of the aquarium account of just like, get it? Like it's a meme. So anyway, so the American Chopper meme, for those of you who haven't seen it, it's Paul Sr. and Paul Jr. from American Chopper in a heated argument. So in our first panel here, there's 5 panels. So the third panel is the center one, the thesis statement that draws people in. Then you click it, it unfurls. And that's another part of the meme craft, where by making a meme that is almost unreadable on Twitter, you've increased your engagement by a ton, because people click on it, stay on it, read the whole thing, and then are more likely to interact. So as far as thumb stopping content, if you're trying to come up with that, having a grotesquely unoptimized format for the platform apparently works very well. So the first one is Paul Sr. saying, "We have to reach people where they are for conservation to break through the noise." Paul Jr. replies, in quotes, "How do you do, fellow kids? This institution tweets. Did we engage you?" And then the third panel is, "This is a really popular meme right now. Maybe it can generate a non-zero amount of ocean awareness." The fourth panel is Paul Jr. throwing a chair across the room because he's so mad. "You're devaluing your scientific authority by copying to the latest pop culture trend. Your brand's relevance comes from your institution's reputation of excellence in marine education, and this isn't it." Throws the chair. Then final panel, Paul Sr. pointing back at Paul. "The ocean is the most relevant topic of discussion every day on a water planet. Using modern communication platforms and their unique languages to remind land-based humanity of the often ignored heart of Earth's life support system is our brand." And that word vomit got 115,000 likes. And more importantly, it kind of ended American Chopper memes. And this was the only American Chopper meme that Paul Jr. retweeted. The guy in the meme.
Nice.
The guy from American Chopper retweeted this and said, "Ha, this one's funny."
Wow.
Now that's an endorsement.
That it should be retired after that.
Right. So
Oh,
at
man.
that point, I'm just like, is the aquarium going to get sued because we're using this copyrighted thing? Oh, it's a meme format. Oh, are people going to respond to the meme? This was 20 minutes in Photoshop on a Friday morning. We posted it at like 11 a.m. and within 10 minutes, it had 10,000 likes. And that's how we knew that it was going ballistic. There were all these like articles written about it, about like, oh, Monterey Bay Aquarium uses memes. But so anyway, if you're ever wondering our thesis statement about meme usage, why we do what we do, there it is right there.
Yeah.
I mean, this is as somebody who loves things that are meta, this is like painfully meta. It's like brand Twitter using itself as brand Twitter to comment its message through the use of memes that are critiquing and building up memes. I don't even know. I don't even know.
4D meme chess.
Exactly.
Yeah,
but it
exactly.
works.
Anyway,
It completely works.
This is my high water mark. Anyway, I'll move on to the next one.
I mean, this is literally just the conversation that we have in our heads every single time we try and
Every
make a
time.
meme. It's just
Every time.
Well, and here's the value of it to conservation is that I make documentaries, but the thing about documentaries is that most of the time you're just going to be preaching to the choir. And if you come at something head on without any kind of reason why it's entertaining other than that someone cares about it already, like one, you're not going to reach anyone outside of the audience that you don't really need to reach because they're already there. But two, if you do reach someone who isn't super into that cause or that already, interested in that information, you're going to risk hitting a backfire effect. So they get annoyed that you're telling them to change how they're thinking or trying to teach them about something. So if you can make it like the smallest part of something else that people will already enjoy and that they just think is funny, that's a route in to get like a foot in the door and start talking to people about conservation in general and about wildlife or whatever issue you're talking about. So this kind of thing, it's super effective, I think, at both at getting new people to look at it and also at changing people's minds gradually.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and the meta of like recognizing, yes, I am a brand is funny in that way because sometimes it could be like, oh, that's like an elephant in a room, like this is awkward. But if you're like poking fun at it, then it's like, okay, like they know what the context of it. And memes, like there was also, I think there was a paper written about it. There were memes made of the monkey that has the really big nose and how people like didn't care about it at all. But then like once the memes were made about it, people were like, oh wow, this is cool. And it like actually generated like legitimate conservation awareness for species. So memes, sometimes that 5-second meme that you slap together could have long-lasting conservation effects, which is exciting and terrifying, maybe, but exciting nonetheless.
This meme kind of articulates how we think about it. But ultimately, what this boils down to, and what you were mentioning too, is something that Emily and I, and people in conservation media generally, and what you're mentioning about your documentary work is that so much of our work on the internet is about empathy to your audience and connecting with your audience and knowing where they're at during the day. So understanding that your audience is on their phone scrolling and probably trying to get away from something, or on their phone or like, so right. I don't know, Emily, I can move over to another meme, but do you want to talk briefly about like how much we think a lot about the audience and the empathy aspect? Cause that's how you build a relationship. it's not fun if you're scrolling and every time you see a brand, it's just like, and by the way, here's something else that you're messing up for everybody. Have a good scroll, you know.
Thanks, bye.
Yeah, thanks, bye. You're a bad person. You didn't know. Anyway, bye.
All of the content that we end up putting out online, you know, it's definitely something where we assess like how we're feeling that day.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's I just really need to put this meme out there in the world
Mhm.
today. Like I need that kind of like positive feedback for myself, or hey, today's been a really rough day for us. Let's go hang out on Twitch and just play a game for 2 hours and just have a good time. And so, you know, as much as we're providing, you know, this content, this empathy towards our audience, we also feed off of that. we
definitely recharges some batteries.
You start to cultivate this like ecosystem, for lack of a better word, between you and your followers, your fans.
Absolutely.
And
a meme ecosystem.
Yeah.
Meme ecosystem. Yeah. Well, it's all about when people see our logo and the Monterey Bay Aquarium has posted something, how do they feel about that? Are they excited to go read it? Are they like, oh, something new, you know? Or is it just like, oh no, here we go. They're going to ask for this, or like, oh, what's wrong with the world today? So yeah, excuse me. We've definitely talked about, you know, a lot of our online content and our social media really it's about raising people's emotional elevators up so that when you have to drop the floor out from under them, they land somewhere functional instead of just constantly dropping people into the basement and expecting them to find their way out. Here, I'm gonna move. I've been staring at two angry people yelling at each other for a minute here. So here, let me just move.
That's
forward.
A great metaphor. I think we have time for one more meme. So you want to pick one out?
Oh goodness. Okay, well there's a good one. But we won't talk about that one. I think, Emily, which one? Here, I'm going through them.
There's so many of them because a
Which
lot of them are good examples of what we were talking about.
We could have you back. We could have you back and do a part 2 if we need to. If we need
drop
to.
This is what's the term? Jealous girlfriend, sleazy boyfriend,
distracted
boyfriend.
Yeah.
Boyfriend, that's what it is.
This one's ahead of its time.
Yeah. Kelp. This is so as you can see, I lost the capital letter at the start there. So advanced evolution of the meme. But existential dread being the girlfriend, your timeline being the distracted boyfriend, and then otter content being Ivy holding up otter content between her paws. This we had it ready, but the New York Times happened to run the distracted boyfriend meme on their business page, like front page that day. So we were just like, time to post that. and it worked
Strike
out.
while the iron's hot.
Yeah.
But maybe this one, Emily, do we want to talk about this one? This one was kind of this was sort of a professional breakthrough for us in a sense too.
Yeah, I mean, this one, I think the coolest thing that came out of this was I'm gonna preface with this so you can understand how excited we were about it. Hank Green retweeted this
and that's an honor.
out to us afterwards, and so we were just like, we've done it. Like, yeah.
The meme man himself.
Oh man.
And so it's the ladies if he meme, in case people are familiar with it, where it starts out with ladies, if he doesn't respond to your text, and then from there it usually goes through, and kind of the typical ecological or bio meme of this was like describing an animal and then say like, oh, it isn't an animal, it's this. So we took it a step kind of further of people are going to see Monterey Bay Aquarium is posting a ladies if he meme, like what animal are they going to do? And we said no, we're not going to do that. Like, we're going to give you, like, we're going to smack you in the face with some science right here that you probably don't know. And so it's ladies if he doesn't respond to your text. Oh, hey, cool, you're reading this tweet. The good old meme format to fourth wall switcheroo. Let's use our time together to learn an obscure ocean factoid. It's a doozy. Here we go. Porpoise teeth are shaped like tiny spatulas.
Wow.
This is one of my favorite. This is one of my favorite meme formats, in the sense that it is not the meme format it's supposed to be. Like, one of my favorite subreddits is Bone Hurting Juice, which is just, the premise is use a meme template wrong. And they're some of the funniest memes I've seen.
They are.
Because it's like the Eric Andre let me in meme, only he like runs up and it's an electric fence and he starts screaming. So it's just
or he's on the other side of it. He's like, let me out.
Yeah. Well, that one's almost like too relevant, where it's like it's still using the basic format of the meme, whereas this is just like, it subverts your expectations.
Exactly.
And it's just like, that's genius. I need to figure out how to do this.
To your point previously, Iona, it's like the funny aspect of it. Like memes are just an education in comedy and how humor works. And so without like, ruining the joke, obviously, but like what you said, Curtis, subverting expectations as like, oh, I've seen this meme format before, and you're expecting to just be like, meh, and then you flip it on its head, which is usually what we end up doing as the aquarium.
Do you have to explain all of your memes to like a board? Because that sounds both very funny, but also tiring to try to explain memes, especially if it's several meme levels deep. Be like, okay, 7 years ago, okay, this is what happened, and then you have to like bring people up to date, and then sometimes like by the time you get to the front, you're like, I promise it's funny. It sounds like it's not, but it is. That sounds very funny to do.
Yeah, not all of them to the board, but definitely a lot to our boss.
A lot to our boss. Yeah, and our bosses are really good bellwether for doesn't quite work. But like, so, going back to the original point of this meme, this was one that Hank Green retweeted, and like that's how we kind of knew he was on the radar. And then from that, we ended up talking. He came and visited the aquarium in the before times. We were able to talk about stuff. We actually just now in this meeting got a message from our boss saying that the latest episode collaboration between SciShow and the aquarium is now up. So like it was really an interesting thing professionally from just doing a meme, and then like other content creators are seeing this, and then it's like, hey, like we should hang out, we should do some cool stuff. And so that was a really exciting thing.
And that's how this came about. I was watching the Twitch stream and I was like, hey, these guys would be perfect to have on the podcast. So it's fun how even I always say, like, even if no one else watches the podcast, which they do, and hopefully they will continue to do, but I'm like, I had a good time because I got to reach out to all these like cool content creators and like expand our network of like cool people that we can work with and stuff.
So if people want to follow Monterey Bay Aquarium across the internet, where do they go? Where's the best place to start, and where is the coolest stuff for them to follow?
I think the best place for them to start on the platform that you love the most.
We should be there.
Yeah, if there is a platform that you are already on that you enjoy spending your time on, we're probably on it too. And we really try and make sure that we're creating content for those platforms that is going to fit in with the kind of content that you like seeing on those platforms. So we're on the usual suspects: Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram. We're also on YouTube, Twitch, Periscope for as long as it remains alive. TikTok. What else am I missing here, Pat?
Giphy. We're around.
Too. You can go check it. We're around.
You said Spotify. Yeah.
No, I didn't say Spotify. Spotify is our newest.
Got some playlists there.
Yeah.
And we tend to do a lot of the memeing over on Twitter, Tumblr, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook tends to be a little bit of an older audience, so there's less memes that will show up there generally, but we appreciate your group sharing our content from other platforms onto Facebook that can then be shared onto Facebook. So appreciate all of the great work that your memesters and meme aggregators do out there.
Yeah, and if you want to hang out in the chat and with Pat and I during our different gaming streams, head on over to Twitch. Like that's where we'll be. Yeah.
That's right.
Well, that's our show. Thanks for listening. Until next time, I'm Rhett.
I'm Iona.
I'm Curtis.
I'm Emily.
Oh. Talk to each other. Shared brain.
And happy year of the salamander.